Hey there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with today's episode of the Daily Delve, where we delve into the MTG market to look for a card that has the potential of going up. With Tiny Bones the Pickpocket being spoiled out of the new Outlaws at Thunder Junction, I think that a lot of the usual suspect cards with discarding or milling are going to go up in value. However, the particular ones that mill have already gone up due to Mothman out of the Fallout Commander decks. So in that case, I'm going to look at cards that discard and look for a card that may have some low supply and will have high demand because of Tiny Bones to have at least the best percentage increase out of all the cards. And I think I've picked the one for Tiny Bones. If you actually look down the list, there is this gem called the Bottomless Pit, which came out all the way in 1998 from Stronghold. There has been one reprinting of this card in a secret layer, but that card is already going for 10 to 12 bucks. So I think that when people start building this deck, they're going to be looking for this particular version from Stronghold. And I wouldn't shy away the fact that it's an uncommon. An uncommon this old has a lot of potential of having a double up or a triple up. And that means that a lot of the buy lists will start to increase their buy list when they run out of stock to refill their inventory, as this is an old card. It's not that easy to get your hands on this particular card. You can't just open up packs to then get it. So I think Bottomless Pit is the best one out of this bunch of cards that work off of discard. And one of the reasons why I think that discard will be a little more prevalent for people building this commander is they're going to mix and match whether they use Tiny Bones Trinket Thief or Tiny Bones the Pickpocket. In fact, I think that most people are going to put both of them. If they're going to build Tiny Bones the Pickpocket, they are going to put Tiny Bones Trinket Thief in their commander deck. So that is another card that has potential, but again, the price point is everything when I pick cards for this series, and I think Bottomless Pit at the $1 to $2 range has a lot more chance of going up than the Tiny Bones Trinket Thief, going up to $24. Like a double up in the Bottomless Pit, I think is a lot more feasible for that to go up. But like I said, the usual suspects for any discard mechanic out of black, I think is going to be a just knock out of the park for going up in price as the Tiny Bones start stripping away the supply of those particular cards. So you have other cards like Necrosian Mist and Dark Deal and whatnot, and these cards probably are due for a reprint at this point with their prices, so that's why I'm kind of shying away from those particular ones. And again, this is just a card that hasn't been printed except for a secret layer, has very low supply in the scope of things, and a commander that I think has the potential of being as popular as Tiny Bones can definitely increase the price of this particular card. I've played decks like this before, like Tiny Bones, like Thada Adel is another card that utilizes your opponent's library and then is able to cast cards, and I think Tiny Bones is going to be built very similar, so you're going to have some renewable resources to make your opponents either discard or mill, and then be able to use their graveyard as a resource to cast things is exactly what this deck wants to be doing. So Bottomless Pit just really fits that bill. It goes on curve of when you want to start using this card to start getting advantage. You cast your Tiny Bones, you get your mana rocks out, you throw out your Bottomless Pit, and then when it's time to attack your next turn, you're going to be able to start casting some goodies out of your opponent's graveyard. So for this week, I've chosen Bottomless Pit. I wouldn't fault you for going any of the other cards. Even Mesmeric Orb at this point is probably due for even more of a price increase, because now it's going to get another commander that really wants to play it. But also, I highly suggest scouring over the lists in places like EDHREC for other cards with high synergy, high impact cards that are going to go for this particular commander. So last week we chose, or 2 days ago, we chose a card that was already in the people were already starting to build decks, and I said that sometimes the supply or the demand for the cards, it trickles in and the supply starts eating away slowly, so you still have time to pick up those cards. However, I think the best time to get into a new spec is before people have the card in their hand, and you can actually plan ahead and know that people are going to start buying these cards for the commander deck. So Bottomless Pit, just knock out of the park for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you tomorrow with another pick.